look at this. Coming into this season, the Dodgers decided that they're going to slide Mookie over to shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a fine job. He's done a better job than I think anybody could have reasonably expected. In the amount of time he's been over there, he went from kind of a neophyte, just doing it on the big league level, to he's major league competent.
Yeah.
In 40 games, it's pretty damn good. On the wrong side of 30, to be able to do that is crazy. Okay. He also got off to a rip-roaring start offensively. In the month of May, he has not. In the month of May, he has one extra base hit. He got it yesterday. In the month of May, he is not walking anymore. He has only 4 walks in those games. He is not driving the ball at all. The slug is way down. The on-base percentage is way off. That it's 318 in the month. It's 480 over the course of the season. Does one thing have anything to do with the other? Because shortstop is a mental and physical grind the way that other positions are not. And what makes him him is that he is an A triple plus offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
If he is not playing at an A triple plus level, is it a mistake to leave him at shortstop?
I think it's more mental than it is physical, because what you have to think about every day, and that's not implying that Mookie is not intelligent enough to play a position and hit as well. I just think that what it takes to learn what it takes every day is the hard part that's taking up the most of your mental space, to the point that if you're learning as you go, you're thinking about that quite a bit, whether you can make the plays physically or not. And that, just by virtue of having 24 hours in a day, takes away from work you're doing elsewhere. I also feel that...
Do you lean more towards what he's saying then? Because if any part of his, okay, I got to now put more time into this, I got to put more effort into this, I am learning something a little bit on the fly. Didn't he say before the season started he wasn't in infield since he was in high school or something along those lines?
Well, no, and he was playing it in the minor leagues, but they changed him over because Dusty Pedroia was ahead of him in the Red Sox, and he was never going to play the position at the big league level. But let me ask you, if you drive an automatic and all of a sudden you said you're driving a stick to work every day, but you're figuring it out as soon as you leave the garage, yeah, it's going to be a little different what your commute is, even if the work that you do on the radio isn't the same. I just feel that the approach, he takes what, 100 ground balls for every game?
Probably.
You know what I mean? And like, that's spring training level intensity
it absolutely
every day
is.
of the week.
But what makes him an MVP is his bat.
Yeah.
What makes him an MVP is his ability to play Gold Glove level defense in the outfield.
Right.
That's what he's an MVP at those things. The second and again, this is a couple weeks. It's not the end of the world.
What you're saying is you're not trading shortstop for the bat.
Hell no.
Gotcha. Well,
hell no.
That's why this became a problem to begin with.
That's what I'm saying. And look, this could just be, I don't care who it is, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman.
Everyone goes through
everybody's going to have 2 weeks where you don't swing the bat great. That's
Yeah.
just the way that baseball goes. But let's say it goes a whole month and his offense just is kind of flat.
I revisit it, yes.
You have to,
I
right?
absolutely revisit it. And I think you do it as much for Mookie's sake as you do it for your own. Give this guy a little bit of a recharge.
I think it also, and this is kind of part of the Walker-Buehler conversation, they have most teams in Major League Baseball don't have margin for error, right? If you're just trying to make the playoffs, you're trying to make the postseason, the Dodgers just waking up will end up winning this division. I wonder how much time they give a Mookie thing, a Buehler thing, simply because they have the luxury of doing it where other teams don't.
Slee, I do see anything that has to do with arms as a slightly different matter than it does with everyday players, mainly because arms, you're only getting a certain amount per week anyway. And if that's not working out, you have to make a decision earlier in your process than you do with an everyday player, because you can't replace them in the same fashion just from a roster construction standpoint. The Walker-Buehler question and answer session is about to end real quick if this guy doesn't find a way to get some quality starts, because at certain points you just say, hey, man, you can't afford to just be sort of dropping games or potentially not progressing. And I'm not saying that he's bad or it's an issue,
You
but
gotta give him time.
Well, how much time are you going to give the guy?
A couple months.
Well, how's the
and how many starts? I think is a better question.
Here's the question: is he healthy? If he's healthy, okay, that's number one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's assume health. Okay, what are the other 4 guys doing? If we're winning most of those other 4 games, I'm going to let this ride as long as he's healthy. I'm going to let him try to knock rust off at the major league level, because it's not really costing me anything other than a game here or there. I can live with having him be a work in progress as long as everything else is clicking. If he's unhealthy, that's a totally different thing.
Is he potentially costing you the development of another player, though? And that's a question that's difficult to answer because you don't. The average Major League fan doesn't know all that was going on the farm.
It is a difficult question to answer, and the answer may be perhaps.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to maybe risk that
Because it's Walker-Buehler.
because I know what the very good version of what that is.
Right, but I think we're in the same stock, Travis. I think we think that perhaps
you know what it is?
It's not necessarily coming back because the way that he throws.
You know what it is, too? He's not missing any bats. He can't put anybody away.
A lot of solid contact.
He can't put anybody. And again, it's been 2 years, and he's pitched to major league hitters twice.
Right.
I'm not ready to say,
not throwing him on the scrap heap at all.
Let's see what it is, but there's not a lot of swing and miss, and that's what all great, and he was great, that's what all those guys do. They get a ton of swing and miss.
Those max velo guys, those guys who have max effort, it's like the comeback is harder than people realize because you're getting back to a thing that might not return. Doesn't mean you can't be an effective pitcher. It doesn't mean you can't be an effective pitcher, but I don't know that we're ever going to see 100% Walker Buehler ever again.
Did you see